Hello! Welcome to Big Brother Plays. I'm Bez, pronouns he, they, and today we're back with more BUSTAFELLOWS content. We're going to be looking at Helvetica's route. Here's a little content warning for you. Spoilers ahead, and like usual, I'm going to use B-roll and stock photos because the spoiler footage is not allowed. Alright, let's do this. Side A is called Down the Rabbit Hole. Tilda is writing an article about Helvetica's practice, which includes an interview with a patient named Annabelle, whose surgery is being funded by the publisher. It also includes some nude, risque photos of Helvetica, which embarrasses Tilda quite a bit. Helvetica starts getting bombarded with phone calls from an unknown caller. Tilda notices this. He can choose to not talk to him about it, but he doesn't say much. During Halloween, Helvetica talks about his past. He says the only thing he really remembers is that he was from Black Hawk, the seaside of town, and was saved from death and drug addiction by Professor Solly, his guardian. That night, Helvetica and Tilda get closer, and the unknown caller calls again. You can ask him about it and find out the caller is asking for, quote, an unfamiliar name, unquote, so he's been telling them that they have the wrong number. As they're driving, they get hit with some unfortunate news. Annabelle has been found mysteriously dead of a drug overdose. Another woman in Sydney's underground now tragically dead. Tilda writes an article in her honor, which Helvetica really admires. The editors of the first article want to write another piece, and to tell Helvetica that a woman named Magda has contacted them and want to get facial surgery for him due to a burn injury. Like with Annabelle, the publishers will pay for her surgery. However, Helvetica refuses to treat the woman when he sees that she's a drug addict, and she flips out, telling Helvetica that don't you dare say you forgot, you can't run, you can't abandon your past. The new you is just someone the old you created. Spooky, huh? The days go by, and turns out Helvetica has gone missing from work. Tilda and Limbo go to see Professor Solly for help finding him, and he gives them insight into the man's past. That night, the fixers find Helvetica and bring him home. He was in Black Hawk and was given drugs, which has now made him very ill due to an overdose. When Helvetica is feeling a bit better, he tells him he finally remembers his past. He was a young gang member and was beaten to death by the gang and left to die. The kicker is that Magda was left to die in a fire, burning her face, and she wants him back in the gang. Mozu and Tilda go off the next day, but they get in a car accident thanks to Magda, and she kidnaps them, taking them to the courtyard in New Sig. She tells Helvetica, who she calls Nicola, that Mozu and Tilda are at a different location, then blows up a bomb to scar Helvetica as bad as her. Tilda goes back in time to tell the others what's going to happen, which gets Helvetica going to the courtyard, and she tells Crow to let the fire department know about the bomb so no one gets injured. Magda tells Helvetica that she wants him to feel her pain, so the man covers his face with oil and lights it on fire. Then he collapses. As Mozu is examining him, Magda breaks down and shoots herself in the head. Mozu reassures Tilda that Helvetica is alive, and the police soon come to help him. Helvetica is in the hospital while his face is being reconstructed. When he gets out, he books a top brain surgeon for Magda to help her recovery. Thus ends Side A. Side B is called Mia. First, Helvetica is given a DVD from Professor Solly, a recording of his recovery process from the drugs when he was a teenager. He and Tilda watch the footage together, and it is very intense. Tilda reassures Helvetica that she loves the hymn of the present very much. Later, they're out together, and Helvetica reveals to Tilda that he's booked one of her favorite films for them to see at the theater. Aww. But when she tries to hold his hand, he quietly refuses a gesture of affection. Later, she sees him playing Ladies' Man at Carmen's and gets jealous. She stays at Lucas for a bit, trying to sort out her feelings. As she's gone, Helvetica misses her and falls asleep in her bed. The two of them do make up in the end, though, and confirm their love with a kiss at his office. Oh, and Helvetica teases Tilda plenty in the process. The end. Other details include Halloween at the Fixer's place. Mozu prepares some spooky dishes for the occasion, but they're so grotesque that no one can barely eat them. Poor Mozu. Also, Scarecrow is visibly flustered about Helvetica's news. Do I sense a bisexual awakening, my dear Crow-chan? As a panromantic person myself, I approve. Finally, Helvetica and Tilda have multiple romantic moments in the pool, because why not? And that's Helvetica's route. Interesting route for an interesting guy, I gotta say. I love the discussion of whether your past self defines your present self. That's a really interesting thing to explore, and I like how they, played that out. It was really cool. I'm looking forward to playing Shoes right next and seeing what else the game has in store. It's gonna be great. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving likes and subscribing. I don't get any money from YouTube for this, so I don't have subscribers, and that would really help me out. If you really like it, I'm at Patreon at patreon.com/Norbez. You can get a custom video if you want one. You can get access to my scripts. All the good stuff, all the lovely behind-the-scenes content. Alright, I'm Bez, pronouns he, they, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm recording, right? Yeah. Okay.